Cops are supposed to be to protect us, but what happens when criminals impersonate as cops in order to abuse their authority? We'll look at 3 examples in this video, beginning with Jackson Jones, who was pulled over after cops received allegations of a weird police officer aggressively questioning random people around town.
Why do you wear a vest outside of the facility? Is this an agency vehicle, or is this your personal vehicle?
This is my Kia.
Okay. It's just a little odd, because whenever I worked in the jail, I took my crap off, especially if I was taking a long drive from Tennessee.
I say, man, if I work in Tennessee, I will tell you guys the same thing. I have been pulled over so many times in Tennessee and Arkansas.
Right.
Okay? They know. I have told them every single time.
That might be true, but...
When Jones fails to present any type of proof proving his employment in law enforcement, the cops become increasingly skeptical. He was not only dressed in a police outfit, but he was also pulling citizens over and questioning them aggressively. The cops are aware that something is wrong with this person. All they need to do now is figure out what he's doing and, more importantly, why.
And you don't have a gun with you or anything like that?
You can search the car.
I can search the car?
I mean,
Is that what you said?
You asked me if I had a gun on me. I don't have a gun on me.
I was just asking if you had a gun on you. You
No,
said
I really
something about
don't.
I can search the car.
I don't.
You don't mind if I search the car?
I don't care if you search the car.
Okay, cool. Step on out if you don't mind.
Jones walks out of the automobile wearing a full police suit replete with handcuffs. Even if Jones was a jail employee in Tennessee, as he claims, he lacks the authority to arrest anyone in public. All indications point to something very wrong here. As a result of Jones' authorization, the officer decides to do a comprehensive search of the vehicle.
We'll just check everything out. If everything's good, then we'll go on.
The officer led Jones to his patrol vehicle while he concluded the search, and Jones used the chance to demonstrate how deluded he truly is.
Why don't we go have a seat in my Tahoe?
The fact that Jones is wearing a thin blue line hoodie, a sort of cop pride symbol that shows how connected Jones feels to his position in law enforcement, seems to prove that he fully believes these cops are nothing more than his friends and co-workers. However, when the cops request to speak with Jones' supervisor, which would readily establish whether or not Jones is who he claims to be, things do not go as planned.
Where'd you get the vest carrier from? Did you order it online?
No.
From a friend, or
I didn't get it off.
bought it at a store?
It's a police store over there in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
You can only be law enforcement to get it. I bought it like 4 months ago. Well, like I said, I mean, you can take all this stuff from me and keep me out of trouble.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, I bought all that stuff. None of that stuff was given to the county, so it ain't like I stole it.
Okay. All right. Give me your phone back.
Like I said, I'm not going to see DPS.
All right. Cool. Hey, can you transfer me to a number? What's this kid's name?
Jones' phone number was either a forgery or did not belong to an established police department. Jones was hoping that when it went to voicemail, they give him the benefit of the doubt, or that he could encourage someone to call them back and claim to be a supervisor. In any case, it didn't work, and the final nail in the coffin was when the witness he had pulled over arrived on the scene and thoroughly exposed his narrative.
He was dressed like a cop.
Yeah.
He had a sheriff thing, but it had sheriff written on the side right here.
Right.
And I live on 62 off of Adam Road. He was sitting in a driveway
251.
right beside 62 Highway. And I pulled up and I was staring at him because he was in there kind of cockeyed. And I was like, we live on a one way in, one way out. And, you know, we always are watching for cars. And I sat there and I was staring at him. And I stared for about 10 minutes of staring at him. And I'm like, who the heck is this guy? kind of odd. He's in our neighbor's driveway. And I sat there and stared at him and stared at him. And I drove off. He got right behind me and started following. And he's driving along. He was right on me. And I was like, almost wanted to Sonic to give me a pop.
This is from over by the Harrah Agmar. From there all the way to Sonic.
All the way to Sonic and Harrah. And I pulled into Sonic, he pulled in behind me. He gets out, and I said, can I help you, sir? He's like, well, I was wondering, what was your problem? You were staring at me over in the driveway. And I said, yeah, I was kind of curious who you was, because that's kind of odd that I didn't know who you was. I was kind of curious. I lived down the road. I was kind of see what was going on. And I was staring at you to see who you was. He goes, I'm a undercover cop for Wellston. And I run, my partner, I run with the highway patrolman out of Wellston.
Not only did the witness testify that Jones appeared to be unjustly pulling over anybody in his path, but he also told the officer that Jones claimed to be an officer from Wilson, Oklahoma, a far cry from Knoxville, where he claimed to work. That was justification enough for the officers to bring him in, and they promptly returned to the control truck to arrest him.
First, let me get this guy under arrest.
Yeah, I already know I'm going to jail.
Alright. Turn around and face the other way. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for impersonating law enforcement, alright? And then you also have a charge for transporting an open container.
My girlfriend could pick him up home.
The penalty for impersonating a police officer is 1 to 3 years in prison, and he'll almost certainly face a modest fee for the open container offense as well. Most importantly, Jones is no longer on the streets. The only reason someone like him would mimic a police officer is to enjoy the position of power and authority it provides. Who knows what someone is willing to do with that power if they are willing to lie in such a bold way to achieve it? That was exactly the issue the cops discovered with Daniel Nelson. Police discovered him next to a fully equipped vehicle that strongly resembled a cop car, complete with lights and emblems. Nelson asserted that it was indeed a local police vehicle, and he claimed to patrol as a police officer for a church, assisting homeless individuals by checking on them and ensuring their safety. However, the police sensed that something was amiss.
This guy's on. He gave me his card, but see if you can try to grab a VIN on it for me while I'm talking to him.
Does he have any type of...
He works for a church. There's no plate on it. I just noticed. I mean, I noticed before, after you talked to me, that there was no plate on it, but he's got a dog in there, just be aware.
So I'll be out and about.
Yeah.
Well...
Nelson explained that he had been called to search for a homeless person who might be in crisis. After conversing with the individual and determining that everything was fine, he left. Before departing, a cop requested his date of birth, stating it was for their list of local officers, not affiliated with the official police department. In reality, the cops used his name and date of birth to run his information and investigate further the following day.
Doorbell works. There's not a doorbell.
Despite receiving no response at the door, the counterfeit police car was parked outside the house. The dogs were present, and they could hear him inside talking to the dogs. Moreover, it was 6 in the morning, and the cops were almost certain Nelson was inside but refused to respond. However, the police did not anticipate what unfolded next. Later that day, Nelson turned himself in at the police station.
So raise your hands. Left hand above head.
Alright, you can relax that seat in that chair in the corner. You can relax that seat in that chair in that corner over.
If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop the questioning and remain silent at any time you wish, and the right to ask for and have a lawyer at any time you wish, including during the questioning. Do you understand each of these rights?
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Realizing that you have these rights, you're now willing to answer questions or make a statement.
Nelson was interrogated for 20 minutes and was absolutely insane. He never seemed to acknowledge that what he was doing was illegal, and anytime he was confronted with an issue, he answered by declaring he was a man of God acting in his name.
Never changed. Never.
I'm just telling you, our witness says you did it at least twice.
Twice?
You identified yourself as a police officer twice while you were talking to him. He said you identified yourself, and that's the only reason he stopped to speak with you.
So at this point,
He said he felt it was odd that you would stop him while walking.
it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right, but why would you stop to talk to somebody at 3 in the
Because he
morning?
matched the description of somebody I was meeting. Backpack, same very thing I told you.
Yeah, you told me it was a white subject that was your...
See that with his hoodie on. We're in the middle of a dark alley.
Okay, but once you realized it wasn't...
I just started making conversation.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm going to be concerned for the well-being of the people also at 3 o'clock in the morning. I just wanted to make sure you're all right, just like I do.
Nelson maintained the story throughout the interrogation, saying he has worked for God and the church and is only there to serve people. But with a witness statement and a patrol vehicle outfitted with sirens and lights, it was clear that the cops weren't buying it. But that begs the question. If Nelson wasn't out there at 3 a.m. trying to defend these folks, what was he doing talking to them? It's probably for the best that he'll be locked up for at least a year in Wisconsin State Prison.
Jake's Boutique, right here off of Main Street.
Hey, partner. Hi. Hey, I'm Officer Park with the Akron Police Department.
How are you?
The only reason why I'm pulling you over, I guess y'all were, well, that's my chief of police right there. He saw y'all go around traffic. He was trying to figure out who y'all are with or what was going on.
Okay.
So he called out on the radio and asked for a marked unit, and that's why I got you pulled over.
That's fine.
So, I'll just let him come up if you want to ask. Who y'all work for, Georgia Metropolitan?
Yeah, I'm off-duty hero operator.
Oh, off-duty hero operator?
How you doing, Chief? Hey. I'm off-duty operator. I just working off criminal detail. That's my ID. That's my badge. Yeah, I just work in a criminal detail. I went to get my car checked out because you can see all the lights on.
Why is the car registered to an individual?
That's mine. This is my company.
So what are you doing with all these red lights?
Sorry?
Why all this emergency lights? And did I see you using emergency lights to pull out into traffic on Lake Ackworth Drive?
Oh, no, because I couldn't get...
The cops had observed Mackey flashing his lights and weaving through traffic, something that genuine cops are not permitted to do, let alone those in suspicious-looking vehicles that aren't even registered with the police department.
Operator, I just working off criminal detail. That's my ID. That's my badge. Yeah, I just work in a criminal detail. I went to get my car checked out because you can see all the lights on.
Why is the car registered to an individual?
That's mine. This is my company.
So what are you doing with all these red lights?
Sorry?
Why all this emergency lights? And did I see you using emergency lights to pull out into traffic on Lake Ackworth Drive?
Oh, no, because I couldn't get through, Chief. You notice? That's a standstill. So I flashed the lights hoping to see me, but I was trying to get in the line.
Who do you work for?
This is my company. I'm an off-duty hero operator. This is my company.
Okay.
Yeah, I do criminal details. Yeah.
So you look like me, you're impersonating a police officer.
Oh, no, sir. I'm not impersonating, sir.
You got any ID on you?
Yes, sir. We look in the front. We look in the front.
I see red lights. I saw red lights when you pulled out.
Yeah, that's sir. That's when it activated to the back.
Yeah. Where's your ID?
Right, yes, Chief. Yeah.
Do you have a lighting permit for the vehicle?
Yeah, right down the glass.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Be right back with you, okay?
All right.
Yeah, it's got a light permit. I'm just looking at this, sir. Light permits good through December of this year. Hey, Chief, what do you say that cross was where you saw him activate the lights on Lake Ackworth?
What's the name of the subdivision looking area behind Lake Ackworth Village?
Lake
He was at
Ackworth Muffler.
Mackey received a ticket for illegal operation of an emergency vehicle and was released for the time being. When the cops returned to the station and contacted the GDOT, they discovered that Mackey was a Hero operator who had been fired 6 months previously in January. He had maintained his badge and permits and knew exactly what to say to the authorities to convince them that he was perfectly legal to operate his vehicle. Fortunately, these cops were too astute to be detected, and Mackey was arrested 2 days later for impersonating a police officer.